Hey guys, my name's Doug with Infotainment.com. Today we're in the 2015 and up Ford Mustang. What I'm going to show you guys today is an exciting upgrade that we sell here at Infotainment.com, where you can go from the 4-inch, the MyFord screen, up to the 8-inch Sync 3 system here with built-in Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capability. So installation is easy. I'm going to show you guys step by step how to do it using our Infotainment.com kit. So let's get started. All right guys, the first thing we're going to do is take off this little trim piece here. You can use a dash pry tool or regular screwdriver, whatever you prefer. But basically you're just going to get behind it and you're going to pop it out of place. It's just held in with retaining clips. So you just pop that right off. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove this piece here on the top part of your dash, or the upper part. You could use your pry tool or just kind of muscle it, but basically you're just going to pop it out of place. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this bezel here that goes around your 4-inch display. There's going to be 2 7mm screws at the top and then 2 behind this little plate here. You can use your pry tool, but what I found is a small little regular screwdriver just to get behind that plate, enough just to pop it out. It's kind of what you need to do. And it just comes right out. Once you do that, you grab the 2 screws behind it. All right, now that the 4 screws are out, we can pry this or pop it away from the dash. The rest of it's just held in with retaining clips after you remove the 4 7mm screws. So what you're going to do is kind of lift up on it, and you're going to want to kind of get it from behind. And it kind of pops right out. The back side, there's going to be a series of connectors. So you go ahead and press in the tab and remove them. This little connector here, you're going to want to lift up on the tab on the top and lift down on the tab on the bottom. And then that'll just slide right out. You can now set your bezel aside. Next, what we're going to want to do is remove our 4-inch display. That's just held in with 4 7mm screws. This little connector here, you're going to press this little tab in and slide the lever over, and it comes right out. Behind that screen is the sync module. So we're going to want to remove that. There's 2 screws on the right, 7mm, and 1 on the top left. Once you do that, you can disconnect the 2 USBs here. And then this connector here is kind of similar to the screen. You push the tab in and then slide the lever over, and it comes right out. These 2 USB cables will not be used in this installation process, so you can just tape these together and just kind of tuck them back. Now what we're going to do to give us a little bit more room back here is we're going to remove the ACM or CD player. There's just 4 7mm screws that hold that in. We recently upgraded this vehicle to satellite radio, so we'll also have a satellite radio connector in here. A lot of you may not. They don't give you a whole lot of room in the Mustang to kind of pull it out completely and then disconnect it. So you kind of have to do it from behind here. And we'll set this aside. Now that all of our electronics have been removed, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and disassemble the center console here for our USB hub installation. Now what we're going to do is remove the 2 7mm screws behind this panel. This panel just pops off. And then you'll notice 2 screws here. So you remove 1, 2. And you'll do the exact same procedure on the other side. The other thing we're going to do is remove this little tray liner. And then there's 2 last screws here, both 7mm. All right, now that we have all of our screws out everywhere we need it to be, we're gonna go ahead and first install our GPS antenna. That's gonna be right below this plate or this trim piece up here. So we're gonna wanna just pop it out of place. Again, just held in with retaining clips. As you can see, we previously installed a satellite radio kit in here, the factory kit. So we'll leave that one there. You can always put double-sided tape on the bottom of the antenna just to keep it from moving around. But just for this video, I'm just gonna set it up there. Just kind of tuck the wiring here behind the duct. And ultimately, we just want this blue connector to come out right about here. Okay? So, as I mentioned, some double-sided tape works well. We're just going to kind of stick it right here. And then we're going to pop in our panel. So that has a clear line of sight just below the windshield underneath the dash top in that location. All right, guys, the next step, we're going to install the 4 to 8 inch harness. This is our harness. Basically what we're going to do, we'll just take it step by step here. This connector that used to be plugged into the sync module, we're going to plug into the female port here. I'll kind of show you guys. Make sure that this gray lever is all the way straight like that. And that way, whenever we tuck it in or we plug it in, it'll come all the way up and it'll be nice and snug and you'll hear it clip into place. This connector here will plug into our Sync 3 module. Now we have a couple other connectors here. This one with the yellow RCAs, all Mustangs have backup cameras, but for some reason if you didn't, you can plug an aftermarket camera into there. To retain the factory camera, we're going to use this part. So that connector that used to be plugged into your 4-inch display will plug right into here. Now a couple other little parts on here. This little cable here, it says for satellite radio travel link. If you opt for the satellite radio travel link and traffic feature, which is an additional subscription through SiriusXM, you can buy a separate harness that this will just plug right into. In this case, the customer could care less. This little connector is not used in this particular installation process, so we'll tuck that away. Now, the one cable that is used, one last cable I should say, is this long one here. This long cable here is going to supply power and ground to your replacement USB media hub. The CarPlay and Android Auto hub requires 12 volts, so that's where we're going to capture this from. So what we're going to do now is we're going to route this along with a few USB cables to our new hub. Okay guys, this is how the media hub works. This is what's going to be in your armrest. It's going to replace this one here. So basically, what we have here is a hub adapter. That's where this cable is going to plug into. That's going to give us our power and ground. Okay. Then you'll have two USBs that'll plug into it. So if you're looking at it like this, and you turn it around, the gray will be right below the hub harness, and the black will be on the left of it. Alright, so basically what we're going to do here, and I'll show you how to do it here in just a second, but the black one is going to plug into the back of your Sync 3 module. The gray plug will terminate into a female USB-A connector, which will come back up and it will replace this connector. Okay, this is required to utilize Apple CarPlay and Android Auto by plugging into the USB port that's just below your radio. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright, to make it a little easier, what I'm going to do, and what I typically do, is I'll just tie these here just to make sure I got enough slack whenever I feed these wires down the center console. Okay, so Basically what we're gonna do is we have to get these wires back to the new hub. So the reason why we took out the screws on the center console is so we can pop it up. So basically you can come in really anywhere in the armrest and just pop up on the armrest. Once you remove those 6 screws, the rest of it is just held in with retaining clips. So this will actually just pop right out of place, and then what you're going to want to do is pull back. That'll really release it so you can get some slack there. So what we can do now is we could feed our USB cable and our power cable kind of down this way, up under the center console, and then lift up on it and grab it from down here and feed it back to the USB hub. So that's what we'll do now. All right, now now that we have it down here, we'll just pull the slack through. Now what we want to do is run these wires back to the USB hub. So as I mentioned, you kind of just lift up on the center console here, and we can just kind of start sticking these wires or start running them back rather to that hub. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the factory USB hub that's in the armrest. There are little clips or tabs around the perimeter of that hub from behind. If you just press a couple of them, primarily the ones on the sides, kind of just work it a little bit, it will just pop right out. So here we have it here. This is the factory USB hub for the 4-inch screen. There's 2 little tabs on each side of the USB-A connector there. We're just going to want to pull those away and pull it out. This is no longer used. We can tape that to another cable down here in the console that will not be used. Now what will be used are the 3 cables that we ran. These 3 here. So we have our hub adapter. We'll just plug that into here. Then if you remember, the gray goes right below that adapter. Plugs in. The black goes to the left. All right. Once you do that, you can tuck everything in. And then basically slide it back into the exact same spot. Then you hear it pop right in. Now the slack that's back down in here, what we'll do now is we'll zip tie it, we'll tape it up, make sure it's nice and clean. Then basically we can pop this all back in, reinstall our 6 screws, and then go back here behind where the radio is going to be mounted. All right guys, now we can go ahead and start installing some hardware here. So let's just take it one step at a time. This little female USB-A is going to replace, remember there's the factory one. Tuck that back, tape it back, you won't use that anymore. It's not compatible with CarPlay. So what we're going to do is run the one cable back in that same location, and that one's going to be able to be plugged or snapped right into the replacement bezel. So we got that. Now what do we have left here? We have we've got a couple cables. The other one that's tied up, remember that's going to plug into the back of the sync module. So let's find a way to get that over up to the upper cavity here. Basically what's going to plug into the sync module is 3 connectors. You have your main APIM connector, your GPS antenna, and then the black mini B USB. So what we're going to do now is kind of tuck everything back. If you want to do it the right way, zip tie it, you know, use electrical tape, whatnot. Now, those of you who are interested in adding satellite radio or HD radio, what a great time to do it, guys. You already have everything pulled out. It was just a matter of just popping it in. You know, everything that we sell is pre-programmed, so it'll be real easy to install. So what we're going to do now is we're going to install the CD player, the ACM. So the curry color connector is from the satellite radio antenna that we installed prior to this video. This connector is AM/FM, and that's your power, ground, speakers, CAN, so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and just plug that all in. Alright, now we'll go ahead and install our 4 screws. Remember what I said earlier about Sirius Travel Link and Sirius Traffic? You can order a separate harness for that. Basically all that is a pass-through harness for one of the connectors that plug into here. It terminates into a 2-pin connector, which is what plugs into on our 4 to 8-inch harness. That's that little 2-pin connector. It says satellite radio or sat travel link. Again, most of you could care less, but those of you who do opt for it, there will be an additional harness you just plug that into. So, I think we pretty much have everything we need here. Remember, there's 3 things that plug into your new Sync 3 system. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this down. These are all molded connectors, guys, so you're not gonna have to worry about cutting, splicing, do anything like that. These are all just plug and play. So we got that. GPS antenna will plug into this FACRA connector up here. You'll hear it snap into place. And then the black connector plugs into, the black USB connector plugs into the black input. Now we can screw this in to the exact same location our 4-inch display was plugged in. Alright guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to install the new bezel. Now, if the bezel you receive does not come with the cigarette lighter, you could just take the one out of your original bezel. It's easy to do. Just flip it over, and then you'll notice these little tabs on each side. Basically what you're going to want to do is just get a small little screwdriver in there, pry the tab back a bit, meanwhile while pressing down on the cigarette lighter, and then it will just free itself from it. And then there's 2 little tabs on the side of this. Just push in on those tabs while giving it a little bit of pressure, and then you'll be able to take it off and then install it into the exact same location. On your replacement. So now we can just plug in those 4 connectors and we can pop this in over our new screen. So remember, this is our USB connector. It looks just like the other one, but this one's attached to the hub. That just pops in from the back. Then we have our other connectors. Once you have all the connectors in, you can remove the screen cover at that point, really anytime. And then we're going to want to get the new bezel to fit right in there. So you kind of push it from the bottom, then you kind of push it down, it'll work itself in. And then it just pops right into place. We just put in our 4 screws, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. All right, now that everything's buttoned up, let's give it a shot. All right, we'll go ahead and start the vehicle. The last part of the process here is to plug in the OBD Genie F428 programmer. What this is going to do, it's going to retain all sync features after doing the upgrade. So you just simply plug it into the OBD2 port. You'll see a series of lights. When you get the solid green light, you know the vehicle has been programmed and you can remove the device. We do have a solid green light now, so we can disconnect it and stow it away. I'm going to restart it to show you the pony. I wanted to start it up again to show you the pony. So when you first start it, you get the nice pony there. Those of you who have the GT350 will get the GT350 logo. The GT350 is the exact same install procedure for those of you who want to know that. But right away, you see the nice big screen, guys. I mean, what an upgrade here for the Mustang. All pre-programmed by Infotainment.com to retain all factory features. So your backup camera, you have the nice big 8-inch screen. Your field of view is just amazing. Your volume controls, your sync, everything remains completely factory. There's no aftermarket parts. This is all factory parts, guys. In this particular install, we did a navigation radio version. There are Sync 3s that are non-nav. That is an option on our website. You could save a few bucks going that route as well. But this particular one, we went ahead and did nav. This is our home screen here. Nice, clean. So if you press the audio soft key in sources, you can scroll through AM, FM. Those of you who add SiriusXM will get the SiriusXM icon. CD player, Bluetooth streaming audio. The climate button here. One of the awesome upgrades about this particular product here is you will gain automatic temperature control. You won't get dual zone, but you will get single zone automatic temperature control. So you could stick it on auto, keep it on 72 room temperature. Every time you get in your car, it'll always maintain itself at 72. If you want it to be a little bit warmer, keep it on 76. The cabin will remain at 76 degrees all the time. Like the old Bezel or the old system, you have to adjust the fan all the time, where you want it to blow. Automatic temperature control is awesome, and that is something you gain with this upgrade. You have your phone button here. You want to sync your new phone, just add a phone. Those of you who need help pairing the phone, just check on our website. We'll give you a tutorial. Navigation, as I mentioned, this particular system has navigation. The navigation is awesome. You get the pinch to zoom feature. Just really, really neat. Dynamic touchscreen there. It has all the traditional features a nav system has these days. You can search the address, the city, point of interest, set up your home, set up your work, so every time you get in the car, you just hit that and it just takes you home. In your apps feature here, you can add mobile apps. Those of you who opt for SiriusXM Travel Link will get that additional harness as a separate cost, and you will be able to access SiriusXM Travel Link, an additional subscription, of course. That'll give you sports scores, local fuel prices, stuff like that. That particular feature is only available with the systems that have embedded or built-in navigation. In the settings menu here, you've got a whole wide array of different settings you can change. Setting up Wi-Fi. All of our systems come with the latest and greatest firmware update, vehicle settings, so on and so forth. So just an awesome upgrade here, guys. What I want to show you now is Apple CarPlay. So you can either plug in your lightning cable in this area down here or in the armrest. bam, now you have Apple CarPlay 100% factory. So you'll be able to make and receive phone calls.
You have some voicemail messages. I can play those or make a call for you.
Cancel.
Okay.
So that'll bring you back to phone. You'll be able to make, receive phone calls. As she said, she could read your voicemail to you. Those of you who have Apple Music, you'll be able to access it right here. Your playlist, Apple Music Radio, so on and so forth. Here's your Apple Maps. It'll take you wherever you want to go. Displays just like it looks like on your phone, but it displays it right here on the screen. Messages.
Who do you want to send it to?
Cancel.
Okay, I won't send it.
That there is an amazing safety feature, guys. When someone texts you while you're driving, you'll get a little banner at the top. You can press it. It'll read the text message to you and give you the opportunity to respond. Meanwhile, keeping your hands on the wheel and not fooling around with the phone. Now playing just shows you whatever media device you're using. It'll show you that there. If you want to go back to the main Sync 3 screen, you press the Ford icon. Podcast, those of you who like podcasts. Great for those of you who travel. Really easy to hit it and listen to your podcast on the road. Audiobooks as well. The latest update with the iOS on the iPhone gives you the opportunity to use Google Maps. Some of you love or hate Apple Maps. Well, you get Google Maps here. Same thing, you could add a destination. You could tell the system where you want to go. So press and hold the Siri icon and you can tell it where you want to go. SiriusXM, those of you who have the SiriusXM app on your phone could utilize it right through the Sync 3 system here. Set your channels that you love. Spotify. Can listen to your playlist, search for music, browse, whatever you want. Your own library. And then Waze, for those of you who love Waze. That's something that I really like. It'll give you, now, with the Waze app here on the Sync 3, it'll tell you speed traps, construction. It'll reroute you around all that stuff. So that's really cool as well. Again, press the little microphone button. You could tell it where you want to go. So just very user friendly. Such an awesome upgrade here, guys. It also is Android Auto compatible for those of you who have Android devices. Similar setup. And we also have tutorials on our website on how that works as well. So just an awesome upgrade here. We, as I mentioned before, you can upgrade to satellite radio at this time. You could do it even with the 4-inch display. HD radio, you could certainly add that to the 8-inch screen. That's an option. We do full leather kits here on Infotainment.com. Do-it-yourself versions. We'll send you an installation video that shows you how to do it. The next project on this particular Mustang is the full digital cluster, so that's something we're looking forward to. A couple other things I wanted to mention before we leave is if you're a little intimidated by the install, we do have verified installers all over the country, so go on our website and get hooked up with a verified installer. But nevertheless, thank you for watching, guys, and come check out Infotainment.com. Thank you.